everyone. Friday, June 13th. That's right, Friday the 13th, and I believe it's a full moon if you're superstitious. A little breezy out here today, so I apologize about some microphone noise. Just gonna film the intro from the yard today. I got a lot going on. Updates, I always start with the weather. Weather was pretty good this week, not real warm. Each day was around 15 in Celsius. We did have some wind, as always, some pretty big wind a couple of days, but I also wanted to mention, I talk about the wind a lot and it really sounds like it gets me down. It doesn't. The wind is fine. I can live with it. I get out and I do the same thing as if it wasn't windy, but I'm just not able to really film or use this GoPro in the wind. I gotta probably get a different microphone or something. The wind really messes with the microphone, so that's why I bring it up so often, or why I sometimes film this intro in the terrace, just to get out of the wind. Again, pretty good week weather-wise. Rain, we've gotten plenty of rain lately. I haven't watered the garden in, I bet you, a week, if not more. So plenty of rain. Rain barrels are full. All of our containers and jugs are full. This week I'm going to talk a little bit about, we got a new tree to add to the yard. I'll show a clip a little bit later on that. I'll give you an update on some of the fox activity. Last few videos I've been talking about fox a lot, and got a little bit of action to give you some updates about. I also have a clip to kind of talk about the ignored part of the yard, as I call it, kind of that far corner. I don't really talk about or show that part of the yard very much, so I'll try to talk a little bit about that this week. Sorry, I'm looking at my list to make sure. And I do want to talk about a potential new project that I'm going to be starting. It's not for sure. I'm not even 100% sure I'm going to start it this year. I'd like to. But that is this area here. Those of you that know me, I'm not a neat freak. I don't have OCDs, but probably people would describe me as being organized and tidy. I kind of keep things organized as good as I can. This area here has just gotten out of hand. It's just, you know, it's not that I'm a pack rat. A lot of this stuff, this metal, this tin, you don't dare throw it away because you know you're going to need it someday. All those plastic panels come in handy for using in the garden. The list goes on. So this has become kind of an eyesore. I need to deal with it. But more importantly, let me try to show you in the garage here. It's going to be a little dark. Matter of fact, I don't think you'll be able to see it. I can turn on a light, but the garage is fairly organized, but I've got some bikes hanging on the wall, this grill, I'm starting to trip over things. So bottom line is, I need some more storage. I've mentioned that in previous videos. And there are options. You know, of course, I could just build a new shed somewhere. It's not that I don't have room in the yard. It's just, where do I put it? I don't want to box in the garden. I don't want to block any sunlight from the garden. I don't want to block my view of the forest. So I don't have a lot of places where I can add a little shed. So I've decided, I think I'm going to go ahead and just add a lean-to, for lack of a better description, to this existing shed. It's going to be a little complicated. You know, I'm not going to continue this particular roof. I'm going to, just because of the pitch and everything else, I'm just going to start a new roof kind of underneath the existing one. Obviously, I'll remove the gutters, but it's going to be about 1.70 m or 170 centimeters wide, and the full 5 meters length of the shed. I'm not 100% certain what I'm going to do about flooring or you know, to put the floor in. I'm definitely not going to do poured concrete. It's just a pain, and you know, I've had some bad luck with that. I don't even know how I'd get it delivered. I don't want to mix it all by hand. I've thought about putting in pavers, but again, I really want to separate the things in the shed from all the moisture and dampness that's in the ground. Lithuania is a very damp place. That's the plan. I'll keep you guys posted. Some other kind of things where you think, ah, you want to do it, just do it. Logistically, it's not as easy to do things here in Lithuania as it is in America. Normally you just go down to whatever, Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, find all your materials, pick them up in a truck or have them delivered, and you start your work. Here it's just a little more complicated. Plus I need my wife's help to coordinate all that. You know, I do speak enough Lithuanian to kind of talk, you know, general items. If I was to go to, for example, the lumber yard or the local depot, which is the Lithuanian version of Home Depot, you know, I can speak Lithuanian enough to say, hey, I need some lumber, or I need this. But you know, to get into real detailed things like I need treated lumber versus untreated lumber, I really need my wife's help or a Lithuanian speaker to make sure I order the right things. So sorry if I made that a bit long-winded, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Again, I'm not committing to even starting the project this year. I'd like to, but we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. Hi everyone, welcome to the new edition. Obviously we got a new tree. Obviously that's not its final destination or permanent place, still in the pot, but I guess this is called a Colorado Fir. I wasn't too crazy about getting yet one more thing added to the yard for me to cut around when I'm cutting the grass, but I kind of like this tree, and you know, it's should work well in the yard. We don't have a lot of conifers or pine type trees other than the shrubs, but we'll see what happens. I guess this is supposed to thrive here in Lithuania. It's originally obviously based on the name Colorado Fir. It's natural to the western United States, kind of mountainous regions, like sandy soil, cooler temperatures. So that's exactly what we have in Lithuania. So we'll see. I'll give you guys an update once we get it planted. So I know I spend the majority of my time filming and talking about the main garden and greenhouse, but figured I'd take a chance on a pretty wind-free day to talk a little about other parts of the yard. I'm not going to be very good about giving you names of certain plants or shrubs. This one ends up having some pretty beautiful flowers on it. It's one of the last things to actually bloom in the spring. In fact, the first year we had it, we thought it was dead, and then finally in very late May it started getting some flowers. Again, here just some various shrubs. This is some kind of hydrangea or something like that. The flowers don't last a whole long time, but nice to look at nonetheless. This little pine tree, for lack of a better description, when we first got it, which was only about 3 or 4 years ago, it was probably about half the height. So that thing is really growing. And I do show this part of the flower bed quite a bit in the videos, but I usually do it pretty quickly. You know, we've got a lot going on here. I won't even attempt to describe all the plants. We've got some kind of sage and lavender, different varieties. This tree is pretty nice. It's some kind of a variation of a lilac. I will say that these flower beds, and as much that is going on here, is a source of contention between me and my wife. I tend to think that it's too busy, things are too close together, they're growing on top of each other. She kind of likes that, and in her defense, when you have things tightly packed together, the weeds don't grow quite as bad. So that's one good point that I'll give her. But there's a lot going on here. We've got some hydrangeas, different variations of hydrangeas. If you remember earlier this spring, I was kind of covering these to protect from frost. These particular little pines or shrubs, they grow like crazy. You can see I've got a little path here that used to be fully open, and these little shrubs are going to take over that path. We'll have to deal with that. That's a big hydrangea. Of course, lilies, A whole lot going on here. I wish I could give you some better names or descriptions, but you know, give it a month, check back in a month or so, and you're gonna see you know, a lot more color, a lot more flowers. It's still pretty early for a lot of this stuff, but it is nice to look at nonetheless. And then there's actually one part of the yard that I won't say that I neglect, but I rarely talk about, I rarely film, and honestly we don't put as much effort into. But this is actually a walnut tree. It's kind of the first year we've had it. Certainly I won't live long enough to see it actually bear walnuts or even get very big, but hopefully somebody in the future will enjoy it. Seems to be thriving. I've talked a little bit about this tree. This is a mountain ash. My wife did the redneck tree repair on. You can see the duct tape there, but if you want to check that out, I don't remember which video number it is, but I talk a bit about the redneck tree repair she did on that. This is a flower bed that I can't really take any credit for. My wife put this in. I thought we had enough with the other flower bed, but now that it's in, it's kind of nice. There's a hydrangea that is really growing a lot. That thing was, I think last year or the year before, it was just literally just a little twig, and it's growing quite well. We've got various little flowers, etc. And I will also say, when it comes to flower beds, you know, planting, that's my wife's department. I can't take any credit for that, but I do a lot of the weeding, I do a lot of the watering, so I do deserve a little bit of credit. These are all poppy flowers underneath this oak tree. Those will look beautiful. Again, check back in a month or so, you'll see that. But it's worth mentioning this oak tree here, which is, oh, I don't know, it's probably about 5 meters high. This thing was actually growing right next to the house when we bought the house. It was way smaller, but I felt so bad for it. Rather than just kill it, we had it dug up and moved out here, and it is thriving. Maybe a little bit too much. It's getting a little bit out of control. I don't want this to become a problem or fall down later if there's a storm, but this is a nice little area. Again, we kind of, I don't want to say neglect it, but we don't spend a lot of time here. This is the magnolia tree you've heard me mention in past videos. We did have a lot of nice little flowers on it at one point in time this year, but the frost just, it was too much frost, and not just frost, but hard freezes. It just took them out, even though I had them covered. But you can see it's coming back. It's not dead. It's got some leaves. I don't know if we'll see any flowers this year, but we're going to keep giving it a chance. And then lastly, to wrap things up, this is a maple tree we had put in. It's grown quite a bit since we put it in. It is not a sugar maple, so we can't make maple syrup, but it's some type of maple. As I've mentioned in past videos, they do have maples growing, you know, wild here in Lithuania, but nothing like in Wisconsin. You know, we've got so many maples, and it just kind of reminds me of home. In fact, this tree is much like one of the trees that was in the yard when I was a young boy growing up in northern Wisconsin. But I figured that was worth mentioning. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I've been talking a lot about the local fox population, and everybody seems to be doing well, other than that young dead one that I found a while back. But here's a healthy looking pup. And here's two healthy looking pups, and their mother, or the female, is just out of the picture off to the far upper right. You might catch it at the very beginning. And here's a male with a very bushy tail, followed by the female, or the mother to those pups, carrying, looks like dinner in her mouth. And here's a healthy young deer. Notice that these deer here, or steernas, don't have a tail like the whitetails we have in the US. Have a great week, everyone.